Hello, everyone. We are here with your candidate for Muscatine School Board, Matt Conard. Hello, Matt. Glad
Hello.
to have you with us.
Thank you.
We'll get right into our first question. Why are you running for school board?
It's a great question. First of all, I want to thank Pearl City Media for this opportunity. Why am I running for school board? I believe in Muscatine. I've been a lifelong resident for 47 years, born and raised in Muscatine, product of the community school district. My wife is, my daughter is. I know the importance of public education and how important it is to Muscatine. And I want to offer my time, my business knowledge, my education. I have an AA from Muscatine Community School District, my BA from St. Ambrose University, and an MBA from the University of Iowa. And I just think my life history and work experience and knowledge can be a benefit to the school board. I want to be able to be a participant and be in that bridge for the teachers and the students and the parents to the administration, and doing what we can to move Muscatine forward. And our school district is a very important part of that picture of how well Muscatine is doing. And I want to do everything we can to improve that picture.
Thank you. Many people aren't aware of all that school board is responsible for. What do you feel is the most important thing for people to know about what the school board does?
Yeah, I think it's important. A couple things, and it's a nonpartisan group. You're working as a team. You try to move as one. Not one individual school board member has any power. Your power is in with the board and your vote, majority vote, obviously. And that school board is responsible, in my opinion, of finding the superintendents, hiring superintendents, and monitoring the success of that superintendent and that vision and what they're working on. You're over your budget activities, some activity on collective bargaining unit, and really just investing in the vision of where you want your school district to be at, the goal, what you're trying to hit, and then monitoring how the administration is in achieving those goals.
Thank you. What do you feel are the strengths of the current school board?
Past, present school boards, it's a voluntary position. A lot of thanks has to be given to those individuals in the past and present school board. A lot of hard decisions are made, not only recently, but throughout their tenure. I think they, obviously, as you can see in the school board, they work well together. It seems like especially having the task of hiring a new superintendent, that's not something you want to go through every year or every other year. So it's very important to be a part of that process. And they have a very well qualified candidate. And I want to learn more from Clint and his vision and and the board of what they're working on, and try to participate in that activity. Everybody's trying to do their best and move the school board and the school or community school district forward. And I want to be a part of that. I know we have 2 open positions there and 1 incumbent running for the 3 open positions total. And I just wanted to offer Muscatine a qualified candidate, sound judgment. I'll invest the time and effort that it takes to get caught up to speed, because you're jumping on a moving train. It's already left the station, so there's a lot of work on me to learn and to get involved, and I'm willing to do that. And I think, again, my knowledge, my life history, my connections to the community can be a benefit to that.
Thank you. What do you feel are the weaknesses of the current school board?
I don't know, weaknesses. I think current events, there might be some disappointing views on the current school board. Right, wrong, or indifferent. There's always lessons learned on how things are moving and how they're progressing. And it's easy to judge after an event has happened. I think it's just taking the community's involvement or what you hear from the community, what you're hearing from staff, what you're hearing from the school district, and just applying those. It's like any project that we work with at work. You try to do your best with the information that you have on hand, and you make a decision, you move forward. Later on, there is time to look back at, hey, what went right, and celebrate what's going on right. What went wrong, and what can we do to improve that in the future so we don't make those same mistakes? So, again, I think the board the staff, everybody's doing the best they can for the students and the families of our community. And it's just continuing that guidance and being a part of it and getting involvement from all of those groups too on making sure that we all share the same vision. We're all trying to work on the same goal and continue to improve Muscatine.
Ensuring all citizens, regardless of resources, are part of the process is essential to a thriving community. What do you feel can be done better to ensure that all the people of Muscatine are part of the process? And are there specific ways you feel you can engage the underrepresented portions of the population?
So, good question, lengthy question. I'll try to remember all of that. But yeah, I think one of the great things going on that you see, a part of Muscatine Charities, and part of that was early learning, making sure that all the students had the option to go to preschool, so that when they're coming into the kindergarten, they're all on the same level, no matter their social economic status or whatever that activity is. And now having that ability, being at the Colorado school system, and that pre-K activity, making sure, again, focusing the investment on that preschool activity to ensure no matter where the child comes from, their status, whether the parents can afford it or not, that they have that opportunity. So again, they're all coming into kindergarten on the same level. Very, very important. And I think there's a lot of activity going on there too with the home visits in the kindergarten and the connection to trying to make that connection with the school systems and the teachers with the parents, because the parent involvement is very critical to the success of the students' outcome and education. So continuing those efforts to bring those parents up to speed on why it's so important and what, children coming to school every day, being prepared, being invested in their homework and what the students are expected to do outside the school system, not only in the school system, but also continuing that through the middle school process and the high school process. I learned a lot with our daughter who just graduated in 2021 last year, learning her freshman year of how important it was for the freshmen to be connected to the school, at least in an activity, a sport, whether it was music, drama, anything to get those kids connected to the school. So it really does improve their experience. It's something I didn't have. I barely got out of my senior year of high school because I didn't have that connection. It's important to make sure that parents understand the importance of that.
Employee morale is critical to the success of any organization. How do you feel about the current state of employee morale given the tumultuous year 2021 has been, and what can be done to ensure employees feel valued?
Yeah, I think that affected everybody in our community, not only in the school district, and people are still trying to figure out, employees still aren't back to the offices and that. Obviously the school system was under a lot of pressure, and again, kudos to the group that was involved in all that activity. There's no blueprint for what they went through. I think they did a fantastic job of guiding that through. I had a student going through that her junior year and senior year. We chose to do the online learning at home. She had a lot of her credits already taken. Others, it was very important to get the kids into class. So the measures that were taken to ensure the students were in class. It was stressful, not 100% agreement. We still don't have 100% agreement, state level, community level, but everybody's trying to do the best they can with the information they have and following the guidelines. And that's important. And the morale activity, it's, hard to see. There's a lot of influx in our school systems too. I think, by shutting down Central Middle School, moving around some of the elementary activities, it's change. Change is hard, and you're still probably trying to funnel through all of those changes. So it can get discouraging at times, but I think, again, communication is key. I work on a new computer implementation software package throughout our organization, and communication is key. If we want to have success in anything, it's through the communication. So again, making sure everybody's on board, making sure they're invested on that vision and the outcome, that goal, and making sure they're being supported. So it's listening to them. What do they feel they're not being supported on? And then trying everything you can to get them that support. It's no fun trying to hit a goal if you're not being supported on it. So it's just listening to the groups, parents, teachers, staff, and see what can be done to ensure that we're all hitting the goal that we're aiming for.
What is one thing that voters may not know about you that you would like them to know?
47 years, born and raised in Muscatine. I've never lived outside of this district. 27 years in my career. A lot of work knowledge, a lot of history, but it wasn't always easy. Again, I look at the graduation rate of the high school system at 82%, 10 points lower than what the state average is, and how important it is to get kids to graduate. But I was part of that 18% that almost didn't graduate. It wasn't for the lack of the school system, my attendance record and other activities, but not having that connection to the school during my final years of the high school, and learning now how important it was of going through my, the district is well aware of it. We learned that through our 9th grade orientation with my daughter again, of how important it is to have that connection. So, trying to understand what we can do to help to continue the success of the graduation rates of our students, but not only graduating, making sure their test scores and they're prepared for life after school, whatever they choose to go, a trade school, community college, a university, or straight into the workforce like I did. It took me a while to understand how important my education was. Several years of swing shift kind of educated me into knowing that, if I wanted to do something different, I had to invest in education, invest in myself. And every step of the way, MCC, St. Ambrose, Iowa, it's only benefited me. So to be able to share those stories and to help guide policy and procedures, and to help bridge the communication between the groups that are involved to better the students' life and to better prepare them than I was.
Well, thank you, Matt, for your time today and for offering your time and energy to serve Muscatine Community School District.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We are here with your candidate for Muscatine School Board, Ken LaRue. Hello, Ken. Glad to have you with us.
Well, thanks for having me today.
We'll get right into our first question. Why are you running for school board?
Well, I've always been involved with my kids', my children's, not education so much, but their lives, obviously. And I've coached and helped with Awanas for many, many years, and I have a real interest in kids and making sure that they become good members of society, and it's just fun to be around kids, in all honesty.
Thank you. Many people aren't aware of all that school board is responsible for. What do you feel is the most important thing for people to know about what the school board does?
Well, as I understand it, the school board kind of guides the direction of curriculum and really what the people of the community want. They can bring it to the school board and hopefully convey their thoughts and their input.
Thank you. Oh, hold on. And what do you feel are some of the strengths of the current school board?
I've got a lot to learn, and to be honest, before I decided I was going to run for school board, I didn't pay probably as much attention as maybe I should as a member of the community. So I can't give you a great answer on that. I know some of the most recent issues are the masking of the younger kids and that type of thing. And I know that they voted to have the younger kids mask, and that's something I would personally disagree with. I think that should be a parent's choice. But weaknesses, strengths, I guess I'll find that out as we go forward.
Thank you. And what do you feel are some of the weaknesses of the current school board?
Well, like I said, I have a lot to learn. And so the weaknesses, I'm not going to bash anybody. And honestly, as I said, I've got a lot to learn. I don't know what their weaknesses might be. If I had one, I would maybe say they're not listening to the community in some regards. I see it looking back at the minutes and then talking to some people that have gone to meetings, I don't think they get enough time to speak their opinion and their views. So maybe that would be a weakness, not any individual, maybe just the board in general.
And ensuring all citizens, regardless of resources, are part of the process is essential to a thriving community. What do you feel can be done to better ensure that all the people of Muscatine are part of the process? And are there specific ways you feel you can engage underrepresented portions of the population?
Well, I think in any community, the people have to be involved. One thing I've noticed in all my years of volunteering time is it seems to be a lot of the same people.
Right.
And whether it's from the coaching aspect of it, or you see the same people that you saw all those years and now they're helping with Meals on Wheels. You know, you see some of those same faces. And I think the community is taking a greater interest in the school board right now. And that's a good thing, but I would just encourage everybody to volunteer in any way you can, whether it takes 10 minutes, you know, Meals on Wheels. I do also food recovery from Hy-Vee and Aldi's, and it takes about an hour or so out of your day, a couple days a week, but it's very rewarding. So I would encourage people to volunteer in any way they can.
Employee morale is critical to the success of any organization. How do you feel about the current state of employee morale given the tumultuous year 2021 has been? And what can be done to ensure employees feel valued?
Well, if you're referring to schools like teachers and stuff like that, it's been a very stressful throughout this whole pandemic. You know, there's been a lot put on the teachers. When kids are gone, they have to try to get the schoolwork to them at home, and so they're asked to do more. And it's stressful on the kids too, to probably just to hear everybody talk about it. You know, anxiety, I'm sure, is high and that. So I think we have to do what we can to make things a better environment and help the teachers and everybody in the school system to have all the help they need, whether that's through volunteerism or, you know, maybe parents can help volunteer at the schools. I don't know the guidelines. I know they can't show up and teach, but maybe they could be there to help do some things and take a bit of that off the teachers.
And what is one thing that voters may not know about you that you would like them to know?
Well, I guess it would be that I've always had a pretty good passion for kids and being around them and helping, and that's grown from, you know, when the first time I volunteered to coach, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. But, you know, into the first season, it became more and more about the kids and not so much that it would be fun, you know, just being a part of coaching in Little League or girls softball or something like that. You get to know the kids, you get to know the parents, and you meet so many more people than you would, you know, any other way.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ken, for your time today and for offering your time and energy to serve Muscatine Community School District.
Well, thank you for doing this so that people get to know the candidates, and I'm sure they appreciate it as I do.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We are here with your candidate from Muscatine School Board, Toby McCarter. Hello, Toby. Glad to have you with us.
Thanks, Margaret. It's good to be here.
We'll get right into our first question. Why are you running for school board?
Yes, well, thanks for having me. First of all, I am just completing my first term on the Muscatine Community District School Board. I think that there have been a lot of good work that we've done. I was a part of adding on the new wing to the high school. It was a difficult decision, but right, wrong, or indifferent, I was part of the group that talked about Central Middle School, Susan Clark Junior High, and then the hiring of the new superintendent. I think we've done a lot of good work. I'm looking to continue that work. And I think that it feels to me like there's some unfinished business yet to be done. And I still have a couple of kids in the district.
Thank you. And many people aren't aware of all that school board is responsible for. What do you feel is the most important thing for people to know about what the school board does?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and we get that a lot. Ultimately, the school board is a governing entity. We are to govern, to oversee the district on behalf of its citizens. We don't make policy, we just approve, whether it be from the local administration level or the state level. So we're a governing entity that oversees the district.
Thank you. What do you feel are the strengths of the current school board?
I think we have a lot of neat, call them characters, great personalities, a lot of different backgrounds, from an educational background to a professional background. I think anytime you get a board with those types of diverse backgrounds, it's helpful in making decisions, especially when some heavy decisions need to be made. I think we are very good communicators. I think that even when we disagree, we don't carry that forward and hold it against, because we act in a professional manner. And I think we all want to do what's in the best interest of, I would say, the community, but I think most importantly, the students and the staff of the district.
Thank you. And what do you feel are the weaknesses of the current school board?
Yeah, I don't know if I like the word weakness. I think if there's a weakness we have, which I don't believe it is, it's that every decision I believe we make is in the best interest, or we want it to be in the best interest of the students, the staff, the community, regardless of the topic. That comes first. And I know that's hard sometimes because we get a lot of feedback from the public, regardless of where we are, even walking through Hy-Vee. But I don't think it's a weakness. I think it's what we do. We do what we feel is in the best interest of the community, the staff, and the students.
Ensuring all citizens, regardless of resources, are part of the process is essential to a thriving community. What do you feel can be done to better ensure that all the people of Muscatine are part of the process? And are there specific ways you can engage underrepresented portions of the population?
Sure, I think there are a lot of organizations who would love the answer to that question, because I think that regardless of the organization, they never get the amount of feedback that they wish that they did. Of course, I'm a firm believer. I don't like it necessarily. I'm not handy with it. I'm not handy with social media. But I think you use social media, use those platforms that people are using currently. I think you use email. I think you use print media. I'd rather have something in my hand than on my phone. And then I think you ask those underrepresented populations, what would work for them? Would they like to get together in smaller groups to feel more comfortable, to feel a warmer environment? Or maybe they would speak up where they wouldn't in a larger group setting. But I think asking them what's important to them, how they would like the information, and then using our teachers probably and our administration and our principals as well, because they're the ones doing the heavy lifting.
Employee morale is critical to the success of any organization. How do you feel about the current state of employee morale, given the tumultuous year 2021 has been, and what can be done to ensure that employees feel valued?
That's another question that I think a lot of organizations wish they had the answer to. I want to be cautious of my answer because I'm not in the room. And when I say that, I'm not in the buildings every day. I applaud. My mom's still a public school teacher after 52 years. I have no idea how she's done it so long, or how the current teachers and administration do it, and the passion they have. It feels to me like morale is, I'm going to say good, Obviously, it has been a very difficult year. We asked our teachers to do Herculean work, especially last year. And with the hybrid and the in-person, it would make sense to me if morale was down. It would make sense to me if people were worn out. What can we do, you asked, Margaret? I think we take the time to ask them how they are. I think we take the time to listen to their answers. Sometimes people just want to vent, or they want to be heard without fear of repercussion. And I know there are a lot of darn good ideas out there that some teachers have, that administrators have, that they've been so darn busy, maybe they haven't had an opportunity to speak. So if it were up to me, and I don't know how to do this or take the time to do this, but it would be, we would meet, I say in small groups. In a perfect world, it'd be individually, to take their temperature, to see how they're getting along and what it is that we as a board, we as the community can do to help support them.
What is one thing that voters may not know about you that you would like them to know?
I vote, and I have since I've been on the board. I vote my conscience. I've never had an agenda. Still to this day, regardless of the topic, I don't have an agenda. Like I said, I'm a public school kid. My mom's a public school teacher. I support public schools. I support all teachers. But when it comes down to being on the board of education for Muscatine, I believe every decision I make and every vote I cast, I believe is in the best interest of the students, staff, and faculty.
Well, thank you, Toby, for your time today and for offering your time and energy to serve Muscatine Community School District.
Margaret, I appreciate the time, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We are here with your candidate for Muscatine School Board, Lindsay Phillips. Hello, Lindsay. Glad to have you with us.
Hello. Thank you.
We'll get right into our first question. Why are you running for school board?
Sure. I have lived in Muscatine my whole life, aside from, leaving for school and studying elsewhere. But then my husband and I now have 2 children that are both elementary age. And we love Muscatine and our home, and we love our school district. And I just wanted to make sure that there were elementary age students represented on the school board. I think right now a majority of the people serving have been there for a few years. And so the kids that they're representing or maybe know personally are also getting older. So I have a kindergartner and a 4th grader, and I feel like now is a good time for me to jump in and maybe be their voice, or at least the person that's listening from that perspective as a seat on the board. The other reason is that I am a provider in Muscatine for a nonprofit organization, and have been most of my professional career. And so I've had the opportunity to engage and interact with many walks of life, I would say, and their perception of, everyone's perception and involvement and engagement in the school is different. And I think we have an opportunity to build trust and really just a level of understanding with multiple people in our community that represent all of our youth. That would be why.
Thank you. Many people aren't aware of all that the school board is responsible for. What do you feel is the most important thing for people to know about what the school board does?
Yeah, so the school board is the people that are working collectively with the superintendent and administration at the school, and sometimes at a staffing level, with our teachers and our providers, and hearing those concerns and what they need, and then finding out how we can financially provide that. Are we able to? And then looking at the governance side of things, and are we meeting the needs from a state level, from a local level, and even from a federal level? And looking over those policies and things that we have in place to make sure we can do the job that we need to do in educating our youth.
Thank you. What do you feel are the strengths of the current school board?
So I think, of course, not sitting at the table, but it appears that our school, their budget is very sound. We are good financially at managing the money, making sure that we're able to provide the structures and the facilities that we need. You'll also hear me say, though, that our facilities are aging and that we need to be mindful of that and giving our kids the best possible environment. But I think that we're financially sound as a school district.
Thank you. What do you feel are the weaknesses of the current school board?
This is a hard question because I haven't gotten to sit or hear what some of the struggles are. But just being in the community, I know that we definitely have some room to improve in the communication that comes out of the district as a whole. And I think that we've made great strides in that already with the communications director and really trying to give people the opportunity to understand how a school district and a school board work. What does it look like from a meeting? What kinds of decisions are made at a board level? And then really being that inviting space. I want teachers and parents and everyone to feel that if they have a need or if they would like to be of help, that they have a spot at that table to do that.
Ensuring all citizens, regardless of resources, are part of the process is essential to a thriving community. What do you feel can be done to better ensure that all the people of Muscatine are part of the process? And are there specific ways you feel you can engage underrepresented portions of the population?
Yes, thank you. This is a good question. I serve on a few committees or work with some people that I think are definitely doing this work already. And we can do better through those partnerships of just seeing it come to fruition. You know, what is all the hard work doing and how is it going to pay off and when can we see those benefits? Aligned Impact in Muscatine is working really hard to bridge that gap too, because we know in Muscatine that students that are on an IEP, students that are receiving free and reduced lunch, they're graduating and performing much earlier on at a lower level than their peers that maybe don't have the same circumstances or demographics. And so what are we doing right now? I know we're looking at a lot of data. We're trying to figure out the why. And then what other resources do we currently have? How can we maximize them? And then what do we have in the community that we can continue to pull in or start new relationships with? And making sure that everyone has that sense of belonging. There's been a lot of research done that to excel somewhere, you have to feel that you belong there. We need to do a better job making sure that every student in our district feels that way about their day in school, and that our staff have the ability or the partnerships that they can call on. Because we can't ask all of this of our teachers. We absolutely cannot. They are doing tremendous jobs already and they're maxed out, so how do we bring those into them?
Employee morale is critical to the success of any organization. How do you feel about the current state of employee morale given the tumultuous year 2021 has been? And what can be done to ensure employees feel valued?
I'm assuming that you're talking about employees within the district. Is that fair? Okay. I think employee morale is down. And when we have an atmosphere where we don't necessarily feel supported, and that's not that I'm saying that that's the case, but I think it's been a year or two almost of isolation and really just being able to pick up those pieces that we're missing out on from any kind of connection that you need to do your job and to do it well. I see those things that say like the workplace is only as fun as your coworkers. And I think that that is true everywhere. You need to feel that you're supported, that you have someone that you can talk things out with. And while there have been precautions in place, we've kind of missed those opportunities to just debrief and communicate, problem solve. What are you doing? What could I do? So we need to be able to give that to our teachers again, hopefully in a safe way. And that there is consistency throughout the district too on what's expected. I feel for our teachers, I think things have just changed and maybe not, maybe we just talk about it more, but there is a higher need in classrooms and being able to meet that in an understaffed environment and one where you have kids that are performing at so many different levels academically and to be able to manage a classroom, I would assume, exhausting, yet probably some of the best work in the world that you can take pride in as well. So I just really hope that we can support them and bring that morale up just by showing appreciation and recognizing if there's too much, to no fault of their own, but I want them to feel like they can and should ask for help.
What is one thing that voters may not know about you that you would like them to know?
I don't know. I think I'm a pretty wordy and very open book, so they may know way more about me than they even want to. I think that Muscatine has some of the best things to offer, and what we don't do a very good job with as a community is bragging about those things. We don't, shout from the rooftops all of the great things that are going on here, and so I think that our own citizens miss out. And sometimes we do that as a school district too. There are great things happening, and we don't talk about them enough, so they're overshadowed by the negative. So if you ever see me, I can be, my husband will tell you, annoyingly positive in the way that I try to interpret things. So maybe that is just, if you need another perspective, I'm always willing and trying to look at things from another angle and really just move forward. I love change. I think change is fun and exciting. I don't know. I think people know a lot about me, or you could ask. I will tell you probably too much.
Thank you, Lindsay, for your time today and for offering your time and energy to serve Muscatine Community School District.
You're welcome. Thank you.